Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sports Ed TV. I hope you've enjoyed what's been, I think, an amazing US Open. I think there's been some excellent stories there, and certainly the two winners in the end, Emma Raducanu and Daniil Medvedev, are very much deserved champions. And I've actually got someone here who is one of those unsung heroes that sits behind one of the great teams. So the team of Daniil Medvedev working very closely with Gilles Cervaro, and that's Fabrice Sbarro, someone I've known a while. We actually joke around that we're frenemies, but it's certainly someone I admire, look up to, because he's certainly paved the way for tennis analytics, and made it a lot easier for people like me to also work in the area. So firstly, Fabrice, congratulations. You must be over the moon with the result.
Yes, I'm very. Thank you. Thank you, first of all, for the introduction and for this friend enemy. I like it because we get on really well. So thank you for inviting me, Shane. And yes, yes, of course, I've been very happy. I mean, working with Gilles Savara for 2 years. So, and this is like winning a Grand Slam is, I mean, is what everyone wants in the end. So, of course, very, very happy with the results. And yes.
Yeah, and I guess I mean a lot of the viewers on Sports Ed TV might not know I guess much about you. So it'd be great to know what's, I guess, your origin story with Gilles and how you became a part of the Medvedev team.
So yes, first of all, I just need to say that I'm part of Gilles Savara's team, uh, not Medvedev, because still that's the coach hiring me. So that's something we. I mean, I cannot lie about it. So this is like this. So I somebody introduced me Gilles in Montreal 2019. That was the coach from Gilles Simon, Etienne Laforgue. And I came out of nowhere with my backpack to Montreal, showing my work. I had belief in stats for 12 years. So I was working as a coach with stats for 12 years. And this Etienne Lafort gave me a chance to come on the tour and show my work. And he introduced me to Gilles Savara. So it started like this. And I showed to Gilles how I worked, what I was doing. And he was directly really interested. And he told me, okay, let's do the first match against Kyle Edmund at the Montreal. I said, okay, let's make it. We did the match preparation. Daniil won 3-love. And then he called me back and said, we have to talk. And it started like this. And from this moment until now, we've been working on every match preparation of Daniil Medvedev.
Yeah, I mean that's unbelievable. It's been, I guess, a number of years, and the results as well. I think that summer was the summer that he reached the US Open final, pushed
Yeah.
Nadal to 5 sets. So I guess it's he's someone certainly from the outside looking. He's made some incredible improvements. Um, I guess what does that journey feel like? Because week in, week out, some weeks they're good weeks, some weeks they're not so good. So how does that feel like when you're maybe looking at some of the lows when you're not having as good of results? How does the relationship evolve during that time?
You mean from Montreal to now?
Yeah, from
Uh,
Montreal to now. Yes.
yeah. I mean, with Gilles Savara and Daniil Medvedev, as you could see them on court, there are ups and downs. And emotionally, so I cannot say it was straightforward with Gilles, actually. Um, but but in the end, with Gilles Savara, we got on really well. He trusts me 100% for my job. So I was really what I work the most with Gilles are the match preparation. That's you can use stats in many ways to optimize the player, as I do with other teams. But with Gilles Savara, what we focus the most is match preparation, and for that we've been really steady. I mean, I was all the time delivering what he wanted, and what I like the way the relationship developed is like the more matches I had from Medvedev against the top players or against any player, the more data I had and the more accurate we could just react on. Let's say that if he lost to one guy, we could react. So this is I think we got stronger in that area with experience of working with Gilles and by the head to head with the other players. So that I would say that that's the evolution we had with Gilles, and yeah, I mean it's still really good.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I can imagine with I guess, the success you've had. Being in the same line of work, I guess I have a rough idea what goes through in a tournament, but maybe for our listeners, just to explain, when you go into a big tournament like the US Open, what does your role involve in terms of when you look at the draw, what you do
Yeah.
during the match, what happens after the match? I know each team is maybe different, but maybe what you do with Gilles.
Yeah, but that you make a good point. I mean, and it's the same for you. Each team is different. That's first of all, we need to say that uh, Gilles Cervaro with Daniil is one thing. Another of my client is nothing. You have the same with 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 clients. Every client for me, it's totally different and has to be taken totally differently.
Yeah.
So there is one part of my job which adapts totally to what they want, and which part of my job, which is stats or me, will influence in a way my match preparation. But I mean, let's talk about match preparation. A match preparation for one of my clients is totally different from the one I do with Gilles. And the one I do with Gilles for me are the best, but in the end, they are one conversation, one call, or one message through big message through WhatsApp. So this is the way I work with them. But once again, it's totally different with my other clients.
Yeah.
And this is what I love about it, you know? It's the same stats if we want, but we can take it totally in different ways.
Yeah, 100%. I want to sort of jump in on that as well. I think
Yeah.
if I can say one client that I'm working with, they're very, I guess, very academic, I would say. So that the player, and they want a lot of detail. They want reports. They want video. They want to see it all. And then I've got a client at the other end of the spectrum that doesn't really want a lot of that, and they just want a voicemail, like you said, a WhatsApp message, maybe with a
Yeah.
simple 1 or 2 pages. That's all they want.
Exactly.
So it's that presentation is really important. So yeah, it's interesting to hear how you as well have clients that are very different.
But you know, but this is what we talked about it. But this is also the next steps of statistics. Statistics is one thing. Using it well is an art. I said in French, it's an art. Because data is data. Using it well, you need to adapt to the mindset of your clients or the coach. Who is paying? Who is that? Who's going to take it? Do I go through the coach to the player? Do I go directly to the player? What is his game style? So, and all these things makes that we have maybe the same data theories, but we need to adapt them well. And this is how I think what you and me do really well is this adaptation to our clients, and that's it. But that makes it my job. I love it because of that, because it's totally different from one to the other one, and I have to evolve myself.
Yeah, it's great to hear. Going, I guess, to Daniil, I think certainly from someone looking from the outside, and I'm sure a lot of fans looking at him will say he's a very strange player. Strange because I think when you look at him when he's serving, he's ultra offensive. You know, lots of unreturned serve, big serves, and then on the return, he has one of the deepest return positions. And I think when Nadal and team didn't play this US Open, Daniil was the only one standing that far back. So I guess how do you work with a player that's, you know, on one side very, very aggressive and then very defensive as well? How does that influence your work?
So first of all, I have to say that I wrote a book about game styles, which means that not a single game style surprised me, because there are many ways to win tennis matches. You know, you can serve and volley. You can do like, for me, Daniil is a counterpuncher server. That's how I call him. Counterpuncher, so back position with the return, counterpunching, which means he's winning his matches more by the errors of the other ones. But on the other side, he has this serve. Most of the best players have the serve to complete the game style, the main game style. So yes, every player is different, like every coach, and that also what makes you have to adapt to that. He's a counter puncher. You cannot change him to what I call a puncher with a huge forehand. He's a counter puncher and he's excellent counter punching, and he has the chance to be 198, so in centimeters in French, and which means that he will be serving good. So we have these weapons and we have to compile with them. We have to put them together. But once again, every player is different and every player has to be optimized according to his game style, not according to the belief of a coach. And this is why this is how you and me, we can come and bring something new with data.
Yeah, yeah. And just on the final itself, I guess, obviously, you know, a great result, but there were a couple of things when I watched it that stood out. And One was, Daniil played a lot of the match on the ad side, so he directed a lot of the balls to the. It looked like he was directing a lot to the Djokovic backhand. I felt he was actually hitting a lot of aggressive second serve. So if you look at the numbers from Australia to the US Open, his second serve speed was a lot higher in the US. And the other thing was all the long rallies. It looked like he was winning, and Djokovic didn't want to play a long rally. He was serve volleying. It just felt like, those three things really helped him win. But I'd love to hear what you felt about the final.
Exactly. So about the three things, let's say the second, I think the second serve risk came from Daniil. Daniil is a strategist. He's a natural born strategist. So this came from him, maybe to surprise, or maybe the form of the day. This is not something we talked about. Then we had some strategies from the back of the court. We had a plan A, a plan B. And the plan A is what he executed and worked, which is to direct a bit more maybe to the back end, play more the cross center things, as you could see. But then we had a plan B, because based on the history of their matches, we knew that the playing cross with Djokovic was not where he won. So, and we knew also that given the form of Djokovic at the US Open, this could work. So I think, then it's Gilles deciding with Daniil. It's not me, So, and I think we had these two plans. And if plan A was not working, Daniil would have gone down the line much more. Yeah. So this is what we, a bit what we talked when we prepared the match, given of what did Djokovic in the US Open, especially on the second set. The second set, he lost the first set. I really wanted to know what happened in the second set. Yeah. I needed to figure it out what happened. And here I found answers that maybe I cannot reveal everything, but we found answers here, and we could use it for the plan A, and this plan B was to play more down the line, but we didn't have to use it. Then this is theories, then is Gilles, and then it's Daniil, and in the end, you never really know from the game plan what's going to be executed or not. But with Daniil, often what I talked with Gilles, I could see it on the court. And this match was maybe not the best of the best strategical match of what we prepared, but still I could find some things. And also where he served, we knew more or less where he had to serve on first serve, not second serve, and also something that, but we were not expecting Djokovic to serve and volley. We were not expecting that. But this showed for me that emotionally, he was not 100% here. He was scared, tense, and because Djokovic escaping from the long rallies, there is a problem. And losing the long rallies, as you also noticed, there's a problem. Yeah. So from the beginning, I saw Djokovic doing this offensive. I said, oh, come on, he's playing like Roger Federer. Okay, and he was winning most of the points, by the way, by coming to the net. But I think this is out of his main game style, of his preferences, we call with Gilles. So I had a good feeling because of that.
And look, understandable. I know Novak, had a lot of pressure. I think from the Olympics after winning Wimbledon. He had some tight matches here. So yeah, it was understandable. I think going into the final, maybe physically and mentally, it was. And you saw, I think, with the emotion that it was challenging for him.
And I think from the beginning, he was not playing because I saw many of his matches. He was not so strong. Yeah. He was not so strong. He was playable, and the other one maybe got scared at a point to beat him also. And also what I noticed is like one shot worked really fine for him on pressure points. And for me, it was just relying on this shot on pressure points, and it was not enough maybe to beat Medvedev also.
Yeah. So I guess now, Daniil's been a premier hard court player for the last few seasons. He's won a lot of big titles there. What's the next step? I guess when you're thinking about, I know his clay court and grass court results this year at the Grand Slams were better than the previous years, but it's still probably fair to say that he's not maybe in the top 3 or 4 on those surfaces. So what do you think is next for Daniil to make the transition to be a great clay court player and a great grass court player?
Yes. So this is something I think we will talk more or less with Gilles. At the end of the year, we're going to talk about the new goals, obviously, and how I can help. But as I said first, with Gilles, I'm really focused on match preparation. And developing on other surface, I know they will do it. They will do it. I don't know how I will help in that area, because also, it's Gilles hiring me and not Daniil. So if they make decision together, and Gilles is taking me to help him for match preparation. This is so for global things like that, But what I remember is, like, after the COVID last year, when he won Paris-Bercy Masters, I could see that many things we talked with Gilles, they were training on court, and I could see the results. I cannot say the same for 2021. I didn't really see where they were going in terms of game development. And also what I saw during the US Open from Daniil was very, very defensive. And first he was defensive in 2019. He got more aggressive for me in 2020, and he got back to something more defensive. So are they developing something about being more defensive? I don't know. Is it going to work on clay? I think probably not. That far, and his flat games. But then I cannot say more than that, because I don't even know. Hopefully, I'm going to know by the end of the year. But even sometimes, as I say, it's not maybe my job to do it with Gilles. But that's it. So I cannot say more than that.
No, that's completely fine. And I guess, look, I'm sure, yeah, as you said, at the end of the year, now that have won a Grand Slam, the focus will be on.
Focus will be different.
Yeah.
How can we win 2, 3, 4, 5, 10? And this will change the mindset for sure. For sure.
And I guess just on that now. So I'm not saying, I think the big three. It's maybe too early to say it's the end for them, and I think Novak is still going to be up there. And Nadal, if his foot is okay on clay, is still going to be up there. But
Nadal, I have doubts. I have doubts that I feel like we are very, very close to the end. Djokovic, 2 more years at least.
Yeah. But in terms of the next generation, who do you think is going to be the biggest threat to Daniil?
Maybe probably Tsitsipas, and the young one coming. If Felix Auger-Aliassime keep playing the way he was doing Cincinnati and US Open, if he keep playing and improving in that area of what he's doing right now, he's going to be a threat.
Yeah.
He will definitely be a threat, because his mindset of a hard worker, you have to see how much do they want it. I think, because Zverev wants it a lot, Tsitsipas, and Felix is part of these guys who are from the next gen. But also Zverev, Tsitsipas, I think for me, they can win a slam anytime. Now, if Djokovic decrease a bit his level, all going to have that chance, and every time.
I think you're definitely right. I think Zverev is very close, and he's won plenty of big titles, won the Olympics, and he look, if it wasn't for maybe the start of the 5th set, I think he was very close as well. I think Daniil's the top one of that group now, but
at the moment it doesn't mean, but that's a good topic also, because I know that Gilles will make everything possible that he keep that edge on the other one. And also this is a topic to discuss with him, and also maybe with Daniil, to say, okay, what is the next thing? They will be coming at you now, so how we can prepare. But we have strategies that worked in the past, but what can we add more to that? So that's 2022.
Look, that's been, thanks so much for your time. That's been a fascinating chat. I think our listeners will get a lot out of that. It's great to I guess get joined by one of the brains behind some of the success. And I know he's modest, and he's very honest in saying he's working with Gilles. But I think if you actually look underneath the cover, he's very much a part of the Daniil Medvedev team, even though he doesn't want to admit it.
Thank you.
I think for someone that works in this, I know the amount of work that does go behind the scenes for things like this. So I can only take my hat off to him and the success he's had. And it's not just with Daniil. I can say, maybe I'm not allowed to mention the players, but I know he's had a lot of success with other players at the US Open. In fact, one of the players gave me a bit of heartache, but we won't talk about that. But he's had a lot of success. So thanks so much for joining us today, Fabrice.
Thank you also, Shane, for inviting me. And I'm returning the compliment to you. You're having such a great season with your players, and I'm also know that you're delivering the good data all the time, and you adapt. And that's all for you too, because what you're doing with your players, we can see the numbers. numbers don't lie in terms of ratio, winning, losing, and you're doing a great job on your side too. And I'm happy that for this episode we are friends, because sometimes we are enemy on court without being on court. From the outside of court, we are enemies sometimes, but we are good friends of course also. And I like this relationship like this. So thank you very much for inviting me, and congrats to you too.